this tutorial we're going to take a look at the 5 main principles of defending. The 5 principles we're going to cover are delay, depth, concentration, balance, and also discipline. Delay refers to the ability of a team to prevent the ball being played forward quickly. A pressuring player needs to reduce the time and space of the attacker in order to prevent it being played forward. In the diagram here, player 3 steps forward to pressure player. Delaying the attacking player in this way, putting immediate pressure on the ball, allows the other defenders to adopt a more organized and deeper defending position. This type of immediate pressure on the ball is especially important when defending in numbers down situations. It allows the defensive line to reshape, and also for tracking players, for example, midfielder red 6 here, to drop into a defending position. This type of pressing or pressuring movement is generally commonplace in a team's final third. Higher up the field, however, in the attacking third, teams may choose to drop off and not press or put immediate pressing players on the ball to delay until a certain point on the field. This is known as the line of confrontation. However, in this particular area of the field, we would always expect a pressing player, as this area is fairly dangerous and close to our own goal. The second principle, depth or support, defending support, applies to those players closest to the pressing player. The players nearest the challenging player or the pressing player try to give close support. The distance of support depends on the situation and the part of the field they're in, but generally this type of support is tighter than any type of attacking support. This type of defensive support limits the options for the ball carrier. Here, any type of pass or forward pass is blocked by the immediate pressing player, and then also the centre back here stepping up and pressing the other forward tightly or marking. Any lateral passing or attempt of switch of play here would be cut out by red player 2. And any potential drop ball or support from the rear is cut off by the 2 players pinching inside the 2 blue players here. Additional depth and support can also be provided by outside wing midfielders or attacking midfielders, or even forward players dropping in behind the ball and providing more depth. Third principle is compactness or concentration. Defending teams should be constantly looking to compact the play and transfer the movement of players to concentrate in areas of the field that are vulnerable to scoring opportunities. The most vulnerable areas of the field when defended are generally the central areas just in front of the 18-yard box. We should pay particular attention to these parts of the field when assessing how we defend. As a general rule, defending players should drop on a line towards their own goal. A team recovering in this manner, dropping centrally and then also dropping behind the ball where necessary and staying compact, reduces the threat of these dangerous areas of the field. A team is now naturally formed in a very tight defending block here, a 4-4-2, 2 lines of 4, compact in the central area of the field, as that is the area where the ball is currently. If the ball was to be played wide, shown in the diagram now, the defending unit would slide to compact the left-hand side of the field or the strong side of the field. Here we should see the block shifting to the left-hand side to pressure the ball that's been passed into player 7. Again, by default, we should always be concerned with funneling players back towards this area in front of our goal, from which over 80% of goals in regular games are scored from. In order to cancel out the threat of mobility provided by the attacking team, the defending team must always try and be in balance. They must attempt to retain their defensive shape and exercise discipline in tracking or dealing with attacking runs. Balancing players help provide additional support and cover to the pressing players. Here, red 5 and red 2, or the centre back and the right back, appear to be exposed to potential 3 versus 2 situations or gaps on this left-hand or weak side of the field. These two players are referred to as balancing players, or also third defenders. Blue player 11 is deemed less of a threat because they're so far away from the ball at this point, and not considered overly dangerous at this point. Rebalancing and sliding across the field to pressure blue 11 and slide to the right hand side of the field can be done in adequate time. The back line remains fairly flat in order to take advantage of the offside trap. This prevents attackers from being close to our own goal. If the ball is switched or there's a change of the point of the attack, with simple sliding, reshaping movement is initiated. Here, red 4 and red 3 become the balancing players, and we leave open the low threat of a switch of play to blue player 7. The fifth principle of defending is discipline. With the 4 other principles in place, it's important that the team remains patient and in good shape at all times. Here, red left back player number red 4 needs to be patient and not dive into any type of challenge with blue 7. Lunging here and missing a tackle puts our defensive shape at risk, and the defensive line becomes disjointed. At the same time, the defensive line needs to be prepared and comfortable to leave these large gaps on the weak side. If the balancing players do slide over to essentially get closer to marking weak side players, the balance and cover of the back line is then substantially weakened. Lack of discipline from the right centre back red 5 and red right back player 2 has left these large holes now in the defensive line. The back 4, or flat back 4, has now lost its compactness, and also these third defenders now do not have the ability to come across. They're not in close enough proximity to come across and cover the left back and left centre back should they get beaten. It's probably also worth mentioning the ability of a team to make play predictable. Here the right back curves his run to force blue 11 to play the ball inside, or at least encourage them to play centrally. In doing so, the red players now have a rough estimation of where the ball could be passed to and can take up marking positions in anticipation of these passes into these areas. Making play predictable is highly dependent on team tactics and strategy, and where we want to curve and force players in the opposition. As a general rule, we're trying to force passes into areas of the field that we have good defensive cover and numbers up situations. Alternatively, the defending player can be channeling players into less threatening areas of the field. For example, here the right back red 2 is pretty deep in the field and forces the ball player wide, as opposed to letting them cut inside, even though we have players up, because this is a more dangerous part of the field for a potential shot and within shooting range or crossing range. Attacking to defending transition needs to be immediate. Here we go from attacking red centre back 3, loses the ball to blue player 9 here. On this change of transition, the defensive players immediately to react, putting into practice all the principles of defending we've just addressed. As quick as possible, get into a compact unit that provides cover, balance, and is disciplined in their actions.